Hi, today I thought I'd take a look at Mars Attacks 50th Anniversary Collection of the Topps cards. This was a book that got put out in 2012. Includes 4 bonus trading cards. Of course, I haven't taken them out of their package. Here's the spine. Here's the back. What's interesting about this is this dust jacket is it feels like it's made of the same stuff as those wax packs. Here's the inside. And this has been taped to the, there's a sticker attached by the manufacturer to the actual cover, so I won't take it off all the way, but here's notes from the early days of creating this card set. Get size exact, leave on crop marks, etc. Here's the bonus cards. Let's take a look at the inside cover. It's the cracked version of the gum that you got and the full gum. A lot of people make fun of the gum. It was gross, but we ate it. I mean, it was still gum. It was chewy. It had some flavor to it, not much. Just basically original bubblegum flavor. If you can track down original Hubba Bubba, that's kind of the taste. But think weaker, and the gum is a lot tougher to chew. Alright, let's take a look at all this. Mars Attacks is back. It says right here, famous science fiction trading card series produced by Topps in 1962 celebrates its 50th anniversary with its first ever compilation, including high-quality reproductions of the original series of 55 cards, as well as the hard-to-find sequel from 1994. Yeah. So we'll get into all of that stuff. Here's that wonderful Mars Attacks design. Pretty cool stuff. The aliens are freaky. They're not exactly skulls. They've got like organic growth coming out here and everything. They're incredible. Pretty much everything that kind of look like this, including like versions of Leader and Brainiac, I believe come from this. I mean, I know there are a lot of science fiction movies of the same ilk, but here's an introduction by Len Brown and the Classic 55 series, the new and original 94 series. Some write about the world of Mars Attacks and everything. I don't know if they talk much about the movie. And here they're talking about cards that, and art that inspired what they were going to do. This Island Earth, of course, as I said, the brain type of head concept. I believe this was designed by Millicent Patrick. This is the mutants from This Island Earth. And here are some violent cards that they had for different kinds of things. This is Civil War. And here's the movie, of course, which is fantastic, by the way. I love it. It's meant to be a parody on all these 50s alien invasion movies. So here's the Classic 55 series. There you go. So they present the card here with the back of the card that presents the story and everything. And here the invasion begins. And so they start on Mars and they work their way to Earth. Each card back has a preview of the next card. The cards were notoriously violent. Here they're setting people on fire as one guy is just a skeleton. I remember in the movie they did that as well, but it's sci-fi violence, so they got away with it without placing an R rating on it. Here, the U.S. Air Force is attacking the saucers. Washington in flames. These are always fantastic. We're not getting to the really gory stuff yet. It's coming. Destroying the bridge. All these people in the cars are doomed. And you could see the aliens inside the ship. The art was pretty incredible stuff. Brown, Gilman, Powell, and Saunders all worked together on the earlier Civil War news card set that influenced the look and feel of Mars Attacks. Civil War's bloody tone was itself inspired by the Horrors of War card set released by Gum Inc. in 1938. Incredibly detailed paintings. They're awesome. Another Man on Fire. The Human Torch. That's awful. Gelman, a former animator, comic book writer, and co-creator of Topps' own Bazooka Joe comics, was an accomplished cartoonist and often developed the card concepts with Brown. Gelman storyboarded many scenes himself before handing them to series penciler Bob Powell for embellishment. The skyscraper tumbles. One thing I didn't like about the movie was that they didn't recreate all the cards, but you know what? I guess they couldn't. Here's a pile of charred bodies in various disarray. There's a human head on a skeleton and everything. Whew! Gory stuff. This another guy on fire. They're watching it from Mars. They kind of have something like this, where they're all enjoying themselves watching the mayhem in the movie. Charred by Martians. So, it's not just America. They invade China as well. This is a very stereotypical view of China with everyone with these cone hats and everything. Just harrowing stuff. Panic in Parliament, so the UK gets it as well. I remember Topps had their own comic book company, and they made Mars Attacks comics, Beast and the Beauty. And, the beauty in this card was originally painted by Saunders wearing a small revealing 90. Yeah, so they didn't do that. It's too sexual for their audience, right? The soldier fights back. I think they made a action figure of this. I'm not sure, but I was saying Topps made comics based on Mars Attacks with their own comic book company. Everyone had one in the 90s. I'm pretty sure they made an action figure series of this, like a reaction figure. And I remember there was a backup tale in one of them where a young Prince Charles fights off aliens to save his mother. I remember that distinctly, and it was so funny because no one ever thought of Charles as a action man or anything. He was crushed to death. It's a classic image. We could show skeletons of dead human beings, of people in flames, but we couldn't show the rounded, pretty flesh of a woman's shoulder. We had to paint over the original artwork after Topps objected. In this card, we had to cover the woman right up to her neck. This is the first thing you see in the movie, I remember. And they have more than just death rays. They have these freeze rays as well. A frost ray. Shrinking ray. That's in the movie. They capture a Martian. So there is a story being told among the mayhem. I remember being unhappy when we put these captions on the front cards when we were planning the series. And as the paintings were coming in, we didn't realize that's what we were going to do. Yeah, so they're obscuring some of the art here. Take about 1/4 of an inch of finished art and cover it. I always felt bad about that. There you go. They create a tidal wave. Lots of mayhem here. Giant insects. That was not part of the movie. So they're getting a lot of mileage out the giant insect mayhem. Death in the shelter. So they're all sheltering from the attack, and then giant insects come in. More giant insects, yeah. So they're like, oh, we're bored showing Martians create mayhem. Let's do all this other stuff. They're kind of weird insect. They're mutated because there's no insect that kind of looks like this. Now they're in mechs. That is in the movie. I remember that. Robot terror. Removing the victims. Controversy erupted when upset parents, teachers, and lawmakers voiced disapproval over the violent and salacious imagery used in the cards. At the time, Brown says, we actually kept a file of all complaints we received. So here's more insect mayhem, destroying a a whole train here. Someone getting electrocuted trying to jump off onto the tracks. Now the humans are using flamethrowers against these giant insects. Following the initial release of Mars Attacks in 1962, the card set brought more backlash and controversy than sales, so Topps chose not to distribute the series nationally. Despite its fame today, the original set was never widely available, and very few were produced. That's probably why they're so damn expensive now, trying to get the originals. This is awful. As anyone who has a dog knows, dogs have the mentality of a toddler, right? So perhaps controversy did not come as a complete surprise to Topps management, who weren't thrilled with their first look at the finished product. They didn't like what they were seeing, and we were told to do a lot of retouching. The original painting showed a dog skeleton. Norm had to go back and paint the fur on. There's more insects, insect carnage. They cut this insect open, it's all water and stuff. One fellow who worked in our department told us, "I think you got it all wrong. This is a worldwide invasion. All the cards should depict famous places." By showing how individuals on the street were dealing with this, with just one or two people fighting a Martian or a monster, he thought we weren't showing the larger calamity. We're making it too small. Here's more insect invading stuff. More insects. Insect horror in Paris. Insect attacking me. That's a striking image of a red insect there. Probably a lit red. Blasting the bug. Insects versus the army was not uncommon back then. It was a common trope in movies at the time. There was a toy line made back then. I can't remember who made it. I remember the main bad guy bug was called Hamilton for some reason, or some horrible Hamilton or something like that. That was a whole toy line of humans fighting bugs. So now they're all going to take the fight to Mars. They're, for 1962, this is fairly ambitious, but they're building rockets and they're loading it with tanks. And Earth bombs Mars, so they're bombing Mars now, shooting all the Martians that live there the same way that the Martians treated the humans on Earth. The Earthmen charge. It's a whole story. Smashing the enemy. Tanks invading Martian cities. Over the years, Mars Attacks cards have skyrocketed in value. While they originally sold for just 5 cents a pack, single cards in high-grade condition can command hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Yes, that's true. They shoot a giant robot. This guy gets it, though. Some of the spikes are red for some reason. Martian city in ruins. Mars explodes, so they blow up Mars. The destruction of Mars was an afterthought, but perhaps a foregone conclusion in those days. There was no thought of creating a sequel or a second card set, so we had no problem destroying every last Martian. Here's a checklist and a short story synopsis. The images shown on pages 11 and 224, no illusion, loaned to Topps by a collector for this book. What you see is the only known sealed pack of Mars Attacks trading cards to have surfaced. $11 and $224. Well, I guess there aren't any sealed Mars Attacks cards from back then. Okay, I get you. Vision's new and original. In 1994, 2 years before the Tim Burton Warner Brothers movie, Topps released a second series of Mars Attacks cards, officially titled Mars Attacks Archives. The set consisted of a reprint of the classic 55 card series from 1962, as well as 11 paintings by Herb Trimpe and Earl Norham, cards 56 to 66 on pages 123 and 33 of this book, which were commissioned in 1989 based on unused concepts from Powell and Wally Wood. Card copy was by Len Brown, who had also written the backs of the original 1962 series. Garden of Peace. For centuries, the Earth has been observed by the... So they name the race and everything here. Late Night Discovery. So here come the Martians. And they're already setting people on fire. This guy's overseeing all this mayhem. They're experimenting on dudes. These guys, I don't know why that makes me laugh. This plane's being cut in half, and all these guys are like, what the? That's cool. They use the saucer as a cutting implement. This kid offers the ice cream cone. Will you be my friend? Yeah, they don't show what happens to that kid, but here's humans fighting back. Good. Here's a child among the mayhem. Here's more bug mayhem here, and recreation of a famous World War II photo with the Martians. And here is new card art here. That's more comic booky. By 1994, Topps was producing their own comic books as well as a variety of painted trading cards, and pulled together from their stable of artists a new 32 card subset titled Visions New and Original, starting on this page and through page 166. Wow. Here's a new version of the aliens. Here's a more of a squared off dome here. This guy gets turned into a skeleton. More like dogs and stuff. Whew. This was in the movie. This guy's hiding on a toilet with a Bazooka Joe t-shirt. That's fun. Whew. Yeah, I think that the first card set the tone that you had to have like super brutality and everything in these. Well, this is lascivious. And I remember when the movie came out, there was renewed interest in Mars Attacks. As I mentioned, the comics were exploding. I mean, there seemed to be like Mars Attacks everything. There still is like Mars Attacks this and that and the other thing, like a lot of crossovers. So this is the world of Mars Attacks. Over the years, a variety of Mars Attacks cards have been produced by Topps for a number of different companies. Above is a card from Non-Sport Update, July to August 1994, illustrated by Garbage Pail Kids artist Jay Lynch. Exclusive tie-in cards from Screamin' Productions Screamin' Products models, Pocket Comics, and others are collected here for the first time, back in 2012. Pages 167 to 181. Here's a dude flying around with a head. Here's this. I'll see how long I can keep this up on online. More Mars Attacks imagery. This is something they used in the a motif they used in the comics a lot, like someone grabbing a big, like a model of the planet. Here's that weird one-eyed version of the aliens again. Behind the scenes and more. So here's some concept art of the aliens. One in tidy whities. This version looks more like the Metaluna Mutants because it doesn't have pupils. Jet Interceptor, previously unpublished development sketch by Wally Wood. This concept would eventually become Death in the Cockpit, which looked a lot different than this. Different perspective. This is donated from a private collection. More concept art from way, way back then. A Moscow one. Yeah, look how basic they look here, and then they embellish it so much with a lot of detail and goriness and very beautifully painted. Attack from Space, Space Adventure Bubblegum. Before it was called Mars Attacks, the series was test marketed as Attack from Space, previous pages and above. A rare 1-cent display box. I'm sure it's super rare. Uncut Attack from Space card wrapper. Pretty awesome. Following public backlash after the release of Mars Attacks in 1962, Topps toyed with the idea of releasing a more toned down, less offensive set, reportedly asking the original artist to retouch the offending images on several cards to remove the excessive gore and sexual overtones. Although the project was never completed, 13 of the altered paintings eventually saw publication in 1984 when Rosum Enterprises released them as Mars Attacks, the unpublished version. So here you go. Yeah, a lot more toned down. You know, all these guys were on fire in the previous card. You still get the idea, though. Here's a dude instead of a woman. This guy's just hit. And this bug is just hugging this guy. Look, the alien's just hugging this human. That's all. No, this spider just wants to talk. He's hitting guys, but there's no... Well, this one's dead, but half eaten by something there. Replaced by... the dog is replaced by a soldier who's just hit, kind of. There you go. And here's an article written by Zinda Saunders talking about... her dad, pre-Mars Attacks circa 1958 and 1962, a young Zena Saunders poses with her father. There you go. Norm Saunders in his studio. Zena recalls, for many of Dad's assignments, he would take photos of my mother and himself posing in costume as photo reference, setting up his Polaroid on a tripod using a timer. Sometimes I would join in. So yeah, that's pretty neat. And here you have that rare sealed Mars Attacks. There you go. That's the book. Mars Attacks, put out by Abrams Comic Arts. I hope you enjoyed this walk through this book. If you like what you saw, please give a like to this video and take a look around my channel. It has a lot of great comic book stuff as well as pop culture stuff like this. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Till next time, take care.